Hi friends, happy Monday. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. Today we're going to do a part 2 reading for Beth Ramsey. And actually I didn't even sit down with the intention to do that. This week I was going to dedicate the first few days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, into really channeling and getting into the energy of Sebastian Rogers for the 1-year anniversary that is coming up here tomorrow, Wednesday-ish, depending on when he actually passed. When I sat down though, the message became extremely clear that Beth has more to say, and I want to go into just different messages I've been getting while I've been sitting here when I pulled these cards out. And then I also want to share with you a piece from a video that I watched a couple days ago that a subscriber sent me to my email, and then we're going to kind of see where that takes us with the reading today. But the reason why I knew today was not supposed to be about Sebastian Rogers was because of the first 3 cards that I pulled out while sitting here. And then I knew just by the imagery what the cards were trying to tell me that this was from Beth. So then I went back to my previous Beth Ramsey video just to rewatch the opening of that, because I knew the journey card. I was talking about how there was a woman there holding luggage and you could see her like walking out of a house. But then I thought I remembered also seeing like the bullseye. So I went back, I rewatched it, and sure enough, there was the exact same imagery that came out when we were channeling Beth, with the girl with the luggage and a dartboard shown. But then we have storm warning sitting out here as well. And the way I laid the 3 cards out was like this. But then I was thinking, okay, I know I posted the reading recently. So when I was going back to look at the reading I did channeling Beth, the date was actually on 2/10. So this is where I was like mind blown with the synchronicities, the exact same imagery as the opening cards there and the exact date showing here. But then I started getting flooded with all of these memories of past readings. The storm warning where John Bonet came through with the other spirit kids, where I labeled that John Bonet comes through with a storm warning. But then also I'm remembering when I was channeling Patsy Ramsey, or in one of the readings, I don't know if it was when I was channeling Patsy Ramsey or when I was asking about the energy of John Bonet. I forget which video it was, but the mother card came out and the tea leaf was the journey card, or the wheel, something about a journey, either what did it say, like a journey, physical or mental or spiritual or whatever. But the journey card was there in her reading. And then in the first reading I did, where we were more heavily focused on John Ramsey, I kept getting energy about them like relocating or leaving and being ran out of town. And I believe it was from the Kipper where the journey card was coming out, where I was getting those downloads. And then I also kept getting references to umbrellas. And now we're showing the storm warning, you know, again, reminding me of the umbrella and also the energy of like moving, relocating with John. And then when I did the timeline reading for John Andrew, the 8 of Cups came out how many times? And that is a card of moving, which would be like this journey card, which shows the suitcases. And in that timeline reading, I don't remember if it was Burke or John Andrew over here in the clock, and I'm not even remembering the times, but it was showing the father with the journey card, again with the luggage and moving, and references to something about the mail that was moving or relocating. So this energy keeps repeating. So I just wanted to start off with that, because although it's showing up in Beth's energy, and I'm sure the meaning is separate for her, but as an overarching energy to the John Bonet case, for me as a medium, as an intuitive, as a reader, the continued and repeated imagery and messages I'm getting have to do with umbrellas, storm warnings. This journey card has shown up in all of their readings. For Beth specifically now, this Target card, the 8 of Cups, the Star card is another repeated energy, and the Sun card. The Sun was showing itself to me repeatedly in the beginning as well. So all of those things, I just, you know, sitting down here with this energy, I'm like, okay, this, what I feel is Beth trying to come through saying that she has another message or wants to clarify something that I wasn't exactly getting right in her reading, or there's something there. It's an extended message, a correcting of the message. But then with what a subscriber sent to my email, I was watching this video which talks about Beth and her potential involvement and how this all plays out with John Bonet, which I'm going to play a clip for you guys. And I don't even know if I can get in trouble for that or if it's going to be like copyright plagiarism. I will give credit, you know, to the poster, but I want you guys to hear it. I will also link the video so that you guys can go through and watch the entire thing if you choose. But I wanted to play a quick minute or so of this video for you guys and then let you know kind of where we're going into the channel message today as it pertains to Beth and her message. So this creator's name is Darlene J Clark, and the video is called JonBenet Ramsey Part 1, discussing how Charles met John, Beth, and Matt. So here is a video of what this looks like. This is the name of the creator. This is an interview she was doing with this guy, Charles Rogers, and he's going through how he knows the Ramseys, how he met Beth, why he believes JonBenet was killed, and he's repeating a story that happened back in 1991 when Beth's best friend Paula and her boyfriend Matt and this Charles guy went to go help free two foster children that this group with the Ramseys had locked up in a barn somewhere. I believe this is in Georgia at the time, and Beth knew about them and she went to go help free these kids. And this is where John comes onto the scene and is asking them, why'd you do it? Beth, why are you here? Why'd you betray me? Why are you getting involved in this type of thing? So this is where I'm going to play the video so you guys can hear it, and then we will kind of dive into the message from there.
So Beth, you two, I had so much love, confidence in you two that you two are going to be dead the next 90 days. And he looks at me, he goes, I don't know about, I might give you 2 years if you're lucky.
Actually, I'm going to do the playback speed lower so you guys can understand it better, because of my ADHD I watch everything on like super speed. So let me try that again.
And he looks at me, he goes, I don't know about, I might give you 2 years if you're lucky, but you 3 are going to be dead within a year, I promise you. So Beth, I just want to know why. What was your main motivation? And she's like, well, the things you used to do to me when I was little, I just couldn't sit back and allow you to do it to JonBenet. Oh, so you're saying this was over JonBenet? And she nodded her head up and down, and she goes, so JonBenet was your motivation to do all this? She was like, yes. Well, I got news for you, young lady. Since JonBenet was your main motivation to cause all of this, just to let you know, I'm not only going to have you killed, but I'm going to take her, I'm going to dye her hair blonde, and we're going to dress her up like a little beauty queen in these little child beauty pageants that you so much detest. And I'm going to wind up raping her myself. And I'm going to wind up passing her around like a madam in a brothel. And I'm going to have her killed on Christmas of 1996 on the 20th anniversary of that little brunette I killed up there in Oakland County, Michigan back then. Just to get you back, so I'll have control over your soul for eternity. You will be mine. So I took it as he believes that he's Satan himself, and that was his way of getting control of the soul of his daughter Beth, was killing JonBenet on the anniversary.
Okay. I will link this video. Again, this is Darlene J Clark. She only has 400 subscribers. The video has under 100 views on it. I've never heard of this character before, this person, Charles Rogers. I've heard speculation about Beth and how she may have been abused and was like running away from her family, or, I've heard those things in the comments here on this channel. And I think I've seen it on a couple like Reddit posts or something where she was mentioned after I went looking for the information, but it's not like readily out there about what this guy is saying. And I mean, it's a long video. There's multiple parts to this. For me, it's hard to follow, one, because the Darlene lady, I don't know. I won't say anything about the actual interview. I respect what they're doing, and it was just very interesting for me to watch, but it was hard to understand sometimes. The quality is a little lower. It's when I turn it up really loud to try to understand, it's like whatever that sound is really hurts my ears, and I'm really sensitive to certain sounds. So I had to go through and watch it and then rewatch it, put the subtitles on, and I had to really focus on what they were saying. Anyways, it took a while for me to digest that video. But thank you to the subscriber who sent it to me, because I love those out of the box interviews where it's information we've never heard of, just like the pornography and poems and pornography. And like that interview somebody sent me was just mind-blowing, because it's stuff you don't hear about. So putting the pieces together with hearing that story and what happened to Beth, he goes on to say how they've done this before, and that this was a means to kill people back in the day, was causing fake car accidents. And it reminded me of like Princess Diana, how people think that was like a setup and a targeted attack. And then this Charles guy goes on to say how they've used that method quite a few times. Beth Ramsey's best friend Paula, who was also with them that night, who John Ramsey personally threatened to have killed as well, died in a car accident colliding with a truck in the same manner that Beth died. My question with this whole thing is, if you guys have heard the story before or know about this Charles Rogers guy or his brother, his involvement with the Bentleys or whatever was going on back in Marietta or wherever this took place, if you guys know anything about that, I would love to know what you guys know about that. But my main question is, why was this guy left alive? How did he survive? Why wasn't he shot the time these foster kids were shot trying to run away? You know, why is he still alive to talk about it? If John Ramsey is as powerful as he says he is, and his daughter was killed, her boyfriend, her best friend, the 2 foster kids, like everybody that was involved in this incident that night, they're all dead. Nobody lives to tell about it but this guy. So my question would be, why was this character left alive? I don't know. So take that with a grain of salt. I haven't vetted this person. I have no idea if anything here that was said is true. There's very little views on it. I couldn't find anything else about this guy. No other interviews on YouTube. So yeah, any information you guys have about that, I would love to hear. If you find a better interview with this guy or know anything about that situation, or have heard about it long ago, researched it, read anything about it, please share with our collective here. I'm sure we would all love more information there, but just crazy story. So I encourage you guys to go support Darlene. Take a look at the interview. There's no comments on the videos. It was just, I couldn't pull any information out. Like, I don't know what that's about, or how she got this guy to come on, how much of it's true, why this isn't ever talked about before, why it's now coming out and being talked about, and why is it coming to the surface now, and why is it coming to the surface on such a low profile channel, where this information, I feel like if you're going to be brave enough to talk about it, needs to be talked about on a big enough platform, 1, so your story gets out there and you're protected, you know, and 2, to give some credibility to it. So I don't know, like I said, use your discernment, take that with a grain of salt. But all that being said, I received this video from a subscriber. We had channeled Beth recently. I sat down to do a different video, the cards on the table. It was just giving me John Bonet energy, and then these 2 cards were taking me back to Beth's reading. So we are just going to continue on from there to see if Beth has any more information she wants to give us, or if this video was just to share with you guys the video the subscriber shared with me. I don't know. So we're going to leave these cards as the opening energies here, and then just keep pulling. I still can't believe that. The exact same imagery with this suitcases and this female traveling and that dartboard. And then again with like the storm warning, the date, it's pretty wild. Spirit is definitely present today, giving very clear synchronicities to put us on the right path today. So first, I just want to thank my spirit guides, the Holy Spirit, for joining us today. And I just want to do a quick prayer of protection as we invite Beth back here to give us any messages she wants to. Holy Spirit, I'm just so grateful for the way that you have allowed the energy to come through, the messages to be so clear to me, for using me as a vessel, for trusting me with these messages. I just want to ask that you extend the protection that you give me every day onto my viewers. Protect anybody that is viewing this video with me at whatever time it is being viewed. I ask that you allow Beth Ramsey to come through, that you are here and protect the message, that you don't let anybody meddle in this space with us. I don't want to hear from any other spirits. Beth is welcome in the space to give us messages, and I just ask that you continue to keep myself protected and my viewers during this channeling. Beth Ramsey, you are welcome here to give me messages. I feel your energy. I know I have the Holy Spirit here giving me messages. It sounds like you have something that you want to tell us, so you are welcome in this space to manipulate the energy to bring forth messages in whatever way you choose. We are grateful for any messages that come through today. All right, guys. Let's dive in. I don't even know. I mean, I pulled out my little case because I wasn't even sure which decks to bring out. I was just so kind of flabbergasted by the opening energies and wanted to share with that video with you guys. So I think I'm just going to start pulling random decks out. I don't even know. I kind of want to ask about this journey card and why it keeps repeating. But at the same time, I feel like it's such a strong, like, underlying energy for every single character that each journey card is going to be different. Beth obviously died in a car accident while it was storming. I believe it was heavily raining the day that she died. I know she was said to have moved away from her family home, and she was somewhere entirely different than Atlanta, Colorado, you know, where her core family was. I know Patsy had her own journey with cancer. I know she moved, and John had his own journey card with traveling for work, relocating his family. And then Andrew would have his own journey with where he supposedly was, being in one place, the other place. He was going back and forth, visiting one parent, the other parent. Was he in the home? Was he not? Was he coming and going? So I just feel like that journey card is huge, but it's like such an anchoring energy for all of them. And then that card 18, it says the power of purpose. And that card just talks about finding your purpose in life and having that kind of direct your journey. But in that same regard, her purpose and what she felt so strongly about, if this is true, right? Let's say this video has some merit to it and there's truth there, and she felt like she needed to protect John Bonet from the childhood she had, and she felt a bigger purpose to bring light to the situation or help those foster kids in the barn, or whatever was the power of her purpose caused her ending and potentially John Bonet's. Then I mean, that is absolutely fitting for the situation that we just seen in that video. So man, just so crazy. I kind of wanted to use my self-created true crime deck and get a few opening cards out here. Ooh, so look what just fell out. Karmic debt consequences, either good or bad. Yeah, a consequence of her life purpose, either leaving or speaking on things. We're asking about the journey, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. And I've already pre-shuffled these cards quite a bit. Flipped them forwards and backwards, shuffled again. So I'm going to take a couple cards here. Beth, can you help us understand the message that you're trying to bring forth today? Why was that video put on my path? Is there any truth there? Is there anything you want to say? I feel like since I started watching... Ooh. Wow. I was going to say, since I watched that video and have been really like... I've actually been watching pieces of it in different parts of that Darlene Girls channel over the last couple days. I feel like it's just been such a prominent energy in my own orbit that's probably why when I sat down at the table with the intention to do a reading, that Beth and the Holy Spirit brought this energy through so strongly, because I feel like they do want to talk about that video. But that's what I was going to ask Beth about. Is it because I was watching that video and there's something you want to talk about? And then, well, this card just flipped out. Work-related situations. And again, with that same good or bad. Good or bad shown twice here. And I think this whole good or bad is only written in this deck these 2 times like this. Karmic debts, career and work life, a work-related situation. The music just switched over to a totally different energy. And then medication, prescription medications here. Oh, I did want to also, the power of purpose. And here we have career and work life. She was a stewardess flight attendant for Delta. Medication. Okay, what I was going to say is Beth Ramsey, apparently, according to this Charles guy, that she had been so troubled by her childhood, and then she witnessed John Ramsey doing inappropriate things with her little sister Melinda, and that's kind of when she, I guess, you know, was fed up with it, told her mom. That's kind of when this whole divorce started. But she said later on in her teens, she really struggled with her mental health and everything that she had gone through and seen with her sister, and that she actually tried to commit suicide a couple times, and she was institutionalized for her mental health. So I was reminded of the Patsy reading I did with the mother card and the journey card, and I was saying, you know, I was wondering if Patsy was ever like institutionalized for her mental health. But we know she had medical stuff going on, and she was probably away from the home a lot at that point, which was around the time that Beth died. Man, it's just so much. The year that all of this happened with Beth and Charles, her boyfriend, and her best friend was in 1991. That was also the year that the Ramseys moved to Colorado. And I was getting the energy of them being like forced out of town or needing to leave for a reason other than relocating to Boulder for work. I felt like there was underlying stuff there that maybe they were asked to leave or forced to leave. And this is all around the time all of this is happening with this Charles guy. And then they move to Boulder, Colorado. It's not long after that Betsy, wow, where did that come from? That Patsy, I guess Beth and Patsy makes Betsy, huh? It was not long after that Patsy ended up going through her treatment. You know, this is when they were in Boulder, Colorado. This is after Beth had already died, after they had moved. I don't know. I'm just trying to put a timeline together in my head because this information just kind of takes things on a different. I don't know. In Beth's energy, I find it difficult to communicate. Hated just slipped out under storm warning. Wow. So the 3 cards that ended up slipping out, she let something slip. She was having trouble communicating. She was silenced in some way. She let something slip. And this is what caused the, oh, wow. That's interesting because the cards always fall below me or to my left, and that card went pretty far to my right. And I wanted to see what was on the back of it. I might be able to see it in playback when I'm editing this, what was on the back of the card, but that just went flying. That just went flying. She worked as a stewardess. Storm warning. Under hated. She let something slip. She was having trouble communicating. She was being silenced in some area of her life. She did let something slip, which caused a storm warning for her. Consequences. Hated. Wow. I kind of want to go get that card and the cat is asleep in my lap. Maybe she doesn't want that energy here. Maybe she doesn't want it on the table because I keep looking at it like I want to go pick it up. But I don't. I'm going to get a card. Whoa. They can't hide what you already know. Card 92. Beth was killed in 92. They can't hide what you already know. Ooh. Then the bottom of the deck here with card 4. The White Bull. Here, let's see. Masculine energy, power, dominance, fire, leadership, authority. This is the Emperor card. The White Bull. They can't hide what you already know. Look at this. Underneath, they can't hide what you already know, with the traffic signs. Watch out for the signs. Do not enter in wrong ways, giving me that storm warning being something that she knew could have potentially have been the reason. In these cards, where, so I don't know if I already showed you guys, but these are the opening cards from when I first channeled Beth. So there we have her walking out the door again with the luggage, and specifically two suitcases here. But then this card right here with the focus on now card with the dartboard, it says, tread gently on your journey ahead. It's giving me consequences. It's giving me not accidents. So let's just ask, because I wasn't sure exactly. And then the hated card. They can't hide what you already know. They can hate you. They can be upset. I'm going to pull a couple more cards here. I kind of want to ask, Beth, was your death an accident, or are you trying to confirm for the collective here that this was a consequence of you speaking out against something or somebody? I think that's where we'll take this reading today, is understanding the actual death of Beth, and if this was a consequence of her coming against her father, if this was a true accident. Beth, thank you for the messages so far. Can you help me understand more about the cards on the table? Can we clarify karmic debt and consequences as to whether your death was a true accident? Verbal abuse, lies, can you clarify the power of purpose and as it relates to work-related situations? Three cards flipped out, so we'll look at them. Hope doesn't stop the karmic wheel from turning. Mockery, an attempt to disguise fear. Fall down 7, get up 8. Rise, determined and unbreakable. Hope does not stop the karmic wheel. Determined, but determined to stop the karmic wheel. All right. Beth, can you give me one card for the power of purpose? I have to take this call. I'm going to pause this. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My son was calling from school, so I had to take it and make sure everything was okay. With that hated card on the floor, I'm seeing that verbal abuse. I don't know. Beth, can you give me... Well, I was going to ask for one more card, and here is quite a bit of cards. It's about to backfire. Plans failed. Rage and confusion. Phases of the moon. A power struggle. Ego versus heart. It's a trick. Deception, gaslighting, manipulation. Ancient teachings. Illuminated the mind. Let's get one final card, Beth. One final card. Maybe it's not in this deck I'm hearing now. Let me get one final card here. Can I get one final card for power of purpose? Oh. I'm going to take this one. An object or a thing. Oh, an object or a thing. In my pre-shuffle, I was seeing... Oh, my foot is completely asleep. I was seeing energy around like a notebook. So I wonder... An object or a thing. They can't hide what you already know. Man, there's so many things I want to talk about that video. So when I link it, you guys watch it. That way in my next video, we can talk about it together when you guys have a little bit more context as to what I just watched. I mean, I feel like it's an interview not many of us will probably know about. So after you guys go watch this interview with Darlene and Charles, I feel like you guys will have more to talk with me about. But man, even in that part that I played for you guys, they were talking about John Andrew and John Andrew actually being there. Beth told John Andrew about, okay, interesting that now we're bringing John Andrew back into it, because John Andrew was in the vehicle when John Ramsey went to this barn where they went to go try to free these foster kids. And Beth had told John Andrew what she was going to do that night. And that's how John ended up catching them, because John Andrew told her dad where Beth was that night. So John Andrew snitched on them and said, hey, Beth is about to go free these guys from this barn. I just thought you should know. John ends up interfering with the freeing of these kids. And then this is where all of this happens. When John tells Beth that John Benet's murder is a result of her betraying him that night, John Andrew was there. So I wonder, because of the whole, he tried to have somebody kill John Benet, you know, on the boat. He had this hate for John Benet. I wonder if it has something to do, if this story is true, right? If Beth was trying to help Burke and John Benet and other future kids and was trying to out her dad, tried to help these kids that were locked in a barn that she became aware of, you know, if that was her purpose and the reason that she was killed, if John Andrew had some sort of deep-seated hate against John Benet because Beth said that John Benet was the reason she was doing this, and then Beth ended up being killed by her father, and John Andrew felt some sort of way about that, about him losing his sister and wanting to get back at John Benet for, one, the pain that was caused to his mother, you know, his dad, whoever. I mean, I'm sure there were reasons. But I mean, I don't know that, man, I get so, because I'm sure John Andrew was also abused. We know Burke also was because of the behaviors that he and JonBenet both had with the bedwetting and the feces and behavioral issues and things like that. So my guess is if Beth was alleging abuse, she witnessed it with Melinda, the behavior of Burke. We know about JonBenet. I'm assuming John Andrew, if he's repeating the cycle, because Spirit told me for sure John Andrew was abusing JonBenet. It was probably because he was also abused. So I'm assuming if this is true, every single one of those children were abused. And it was just a cycle. And this is the Queen of Pentacles. I'm going to put it back, but showing you guys what's out here. Oh, and the Empress at the bottom. Very significant here. This is the Knight of Wands trying to peek out. Empress, Queen of Pentacles. All right, I feel, again, like a little scatterbrained here, Beth. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for making your presence known, for the energy being so strong when I sat down. I feel like you have something to say, and I just feel scatterbrained and not completely concentrated on the energy. And one, I just want to apologize and ask you just openly what it is that you want to say. How do you want to utilize this platform and me as a medium to bring forth messages for you? What is your biggest message here? Without me speculating on the energy or interrupting about the video, I'm just going to be quiet and give you the floor because I know you're here for a reason, and I just want you to help me understand in the most clear way possible what it is that you're trying to bring forth. What is the most important energy that you want us to know today? What are you trying to tell us? What do you want us to know, Beth? Wow. Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck with just another card of moving away from something. Again, we're seeing the storm warning here. We're seeing lightning, rain, a man and a woman in a boat. We can see Beth's energy here with her being in the vehicle the night of the storm, which caused her accident. We have the Eight of Wands, which is movement or could be messages. But what really stuck out to me about the first two cards that hit the table here are the Nine of Wands with the Queen of Swords. And this to me is talking about a wounding that happened to her. And again, with the energy I was getting around the journaling, I feel like she wrote about, journaled, or confided in somebody who would have notes. Like in her, when she was institutionalized for her mental health troubles, if, like, for example, if that were true, there may be files that document her abuse. I mean, this is a wounded person. This is a woman here who has suffered wounds. And this to me is telling me like documentation about it. Object or thing could be like a journal, something you write in. But then look at this. The Knight of Wands was not directly next to the Empress. It slid out and it was trying to be shown. But then these came out again together, which is showing me Knight of Wands and the Empress card again. I'm gonna keep going. Man, so interesting. Wow. Very interesting. I just got to download mentally about John Andrew. I wonder, how do I say this? In my head, I was having dialogue with Beth energetically about these two cards here because it wasn't coming together for me. And in my head, what I heard is John Andrew went searching the mother's house for this documentation, this journal, something that would have been Beth's, that I feel like she left with her mother. And John Andrew either found it, was looking for it, is still looking for it. There's energy of John Andrew searching the mother's house for something that Beth would have left behind regarding this abuse. And then again, I'm thinking in my head, why? And I'm hearing like initiated. John Andrew was initiated into his father's sick games because he showed his allegiance to his dad. Whether this is true about the night in the barn or not, there was something that either John Andrew did that told John Ramsey that he is going to be loyal to him. This could have been the night. Okay, for the sake of the energy, let's pretend that this Charles guy is speaking the truth. John Andrew already showed allegiance to his dad when he told on Beth for what she was going to do. Now let's say Beth was already wanting to speak about things. She was already showing her rebellion here. If John Andrew was sent back into the mother's house where John was already removed from to look for something that would have been related to his sister, that would be a second way to prove his loyalty to his dad. And then maybe, because I keep getting the energy that John Andrew was the one that killed John Bonet, I wonder if Dad John made this his final act of like initiation or allegiance, is okay, this is what happened, this is what I said was going to happen, to prove that you now know way too much, John Andrew, that you're going to take the life of your sister, and then we will be good. Like, we will be, this secret is completely safe, and I don't have to trust that another one of my kids will go against me because he had John do the deed. John Andrew. I mean, God, that's so crazy to think about and so completely sick. But I mean, that's what I'm getting, is he was sent back to the mother's house to get an object or a thing that belonged to Beth. And here we're looking at her teenage brother, who would have been about around 15 at the time this barn incident happened. Beth, is there anything else you want to say from this deck before we grab another? I'm going to get 4 final cards from this deck before grabbing a clarifier deck. Is there anything else you want to say from here to add on to the energy on the table? Is there anything else? One more. So we have the King of Cups, the Page of Swords, the Seven of Swords, and the Two of Cups. That's really weird. I just got another strange download in this internal dialogue I'm having in my head. So I wonder if Beth was having like silent secret conversations with people, because again, like, this is dialogue that's going on in my head that I'm not saying out loud. And I was getting the energy of like, it's hard to communicate, or I feel like I can't talk. And then when I communicate with Beth the best, which is so different for me, it's like in my head. So as I'm sitting here looking at the cards, I'm in my head having conversations with her, which is where I feel she feels the most comfortable speaking, like silently. I'm also now hearing from her boyfriend's mother also knows a lot of things and has information about what was going on before her death. So whatever that is, I mean, I don't know what is true and what's not, but whoever Matt's mom is, I'm seeing this as Matt and Matt's mom, the relationship that she was in, that he or even Beth confided in her, where I don't think that John knows that the mom knows certain things, or has an object or thing, a document, a journal related to Beth. And I don't know why it's not come out yet. And I wonder if Matt's mother is still alive, or if Matt had siblings that she's protecting from John. But I wonder, and now I just get this energy of like, secrets coming out once certain people are no longer here. Like once the mom passes and they find something that she hid for Beth, or after John Ramsey dies, something comes out from Melinda, or I get this energy that somebody knows something and has something that I think Beth wrote that will tie into a lot of unanswered questions, either with herself or John Bonet, or both. And good or bad, right? This could be good or bad. I'm going to get a different deck just to clarify, but I'm seeing John Andrews' loyalty to his father. And I'm seeing Beth highlighting a book or a journal or something significant that was hidden. I do want to ask about the storm. Beth, can you clarify for us whether your death was an accident or murder? Can you help us understand more around your car accident and what happened that night? Interesting. The Chariot card flips out when we're asking about her car accident. Six of Wands is success. Success and celebration around this vehicle. I mean, if it were an accident, there wouldn't be success here, right? This looks like a plan. I'll pull two more cards to clarify this, but I would have expected to see like the vehicle with some sort of like confusion or moon energy, like secrets or something that like you wouldn't, like an accident, something that was not foreseen. But this is success and celebration. Beth, will you clarify if this was actually murder? The Fool and the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is also known as the Stalker card. In Beth's reading, we did get the stalking card with the sunglasses, which was talking about being gaslit. If you think of this in terms of imagery, the Fool is about to jump off of a cliff. And I feel like the Page of Swords is somebody like watching, maybe even like standing behind them on the cliff, like making sure they jump type of energy. And this is also giving me the energy of somebody was being foolish with the information that they possessed. And again, something that Beth knew, there was a consequence to that. Something she knew. She was looking way too hard at her father's or maybe not her father. She was looking too closely at something. Again, if the energy is true, it's giving me the energy of she didn't fully understand what it is. Or how dark of an energy she was getting, like, again, with that energy of like, I can't even get a full sentence out. I keep seeing this visually as somebody standing behind somebody with a sword, making sure that they take this leap off of this cliff. Now it's giving me like if somebody's behind someone, forcing them to do something or go a certain direction, would be like chasing somebody in a car, making sure their car went in a certain direction. If you have someone behind you with a sword, whatever that energy might be. Again, with this person in the vehicle, like closely following behind the Six of Wands. All right, Beth, do you want to clarify anything else about the nature of your accident? Ooh. Nine of Swords. Strength. King of Wands. Wow. Five of Pentacles. The Tower. And the Moon. So with the dialogue I was hearing in my head as these cards came out, again, the way I best am able to communicate with Beth is, again, in my head. But what I was hearing in my head with these cards was there would have been a fear of her father not being able to control her. Or no longer being able to control her mind. It's giving me like mind control. Now I'm hearing in my head when she left home, it became harder for him to control her and keep tabs on her because they both moved at this time. He was losing control because of the home situation. They both left home. And there's some sort of inability to keep tabs on, to watch, to spy, or to control the mind or actions became more difficult. And there was something, again, I'm being drawn back to this career work-life balance. There was something going on with something she knew about his work or a document she had that was around something that would have affected his work. And a lot of people losing money, which I was getting in John's reading about like a bad investment or somebody losing a lot of money. So I think whatever object she took or document she had would have been a way to hurt John's career. Even if she couldn't stop him from hurting children, she was going to go after his finances. And I think this became clear. Something was found out that she knew about or had evidence of, which is maybe why John Andrew went in looking for that thing that she was said to have, because now we have the tower and the moon around him not being able to control her. But again, the final decision to cause this ending had to do with work and finances. He couldn't risk what he had going on at work. He couldn't let these family affairs come in between something he was doing with money and work. I don't think I looked at the bottom. The Empress and the Queen of Cups. I just got this warm feeling in my chest that this is Beth. This is Beth saying, yes, I'm here. That was so crazy. I just got like, you know, when you drink something cold and you feel it go down, I felt that, but like warmth through my chest. This Empress and this Queen of Cups, I do feel is Beth just acknowledging the reading, acknowledging what came out today, acknowledging that she's here. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Beth, for joining us. I feel like I have so many more questions now, so much more I want to ask you. I'm going to sit with this energy. I would love to channel you again. I hope that you join us again and give us as much more information that you want, but you are always welcome here. You have such a beautiful energy. That's so beautiful. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it here for today. I'm going to get a final oracle card and say goodbye to Beth for today, but there will definitely be a part 3 to this. I want to sit with the 2 readings, rewatch them back, because I get more downloads as I watch them back that I don't necessarily get when I'm sitting here. So I'm going to watch them back, both of them back to back. Think of specific questions that I want to ask Beth about the energy that's coming through. Give you guys a chance to watch that interview, and then we'll go into a part 3 together. All right, Beth, can you give us a final oracle card about the energy on the table? Final closing message. This card was just out here in the last reading that we did for Maddie. Awakening Genius. That is so wild. Beyond the Ordinary was at the bottom. These 2 were the exact 2 cards that were here for Maddie's reading. The fact that this flipped out and this card was at the bottom. Like, what are the odds? I've been shuffling this deck. I pulled the Power of Purpose. I just shuffled it again. The fact that these would be on top and bottom, I feel like are really significant to the energy this week. Whatever's going on, Beyond the Ordinary and Awakening Genius. That is just crazy to me. I don't know if that's just more of a confirmation to just continue to like give me all these synchronistic messages. I'm going to browse the book here, but then I feel like getting a final energy from the Energy Oracle. Wow. So this is talking about the energy of sound. Oh, this card was coming out about birthing. We have the Empress here quite a few times. I wonder if Beth is also trying to highlight pregnancy. This is also kind of an Empress card. This is the spirit of creative expression, bringing forth new information or birthing ideas, which is definitely Empress energy. Genius comes from Gignir, meaning to bring forth or birth, to bring forth information. I kind of want to see what's beneath Queen of Cups, Five of Wands, conflict. All right, Beth, I'm going to take one more card here. If you can help us with Awakening Genius. Can you give me one more card here? Look at the bottom of the deck here. It says strategy, journal, log. Do you guys see this? And the sun. The sun with John Bonet's energy, I have come to tie it to John Andrew and the sun that keeps trying to be highlighted. And I just said, I wonder if John Andrew was sent back into his mother's house to take an object or a thing that would have been like a journal she wrote. And then confirmation here with the sun and a journal or a log. This is 121. This is showing me January 21st. And I believe Beth passed in January. What day did she pass? Let's see really quick. She died January 8th. January 8th. So the sun and strategy with envy under that. The sun. I'm just seeing with the sun card here, there's a little baby in a cloth hanging here, but then there's also a book. I'm going to read the sun card and then wrap it up. As always, I would love to hear from you guys, your thoughts on the message today, and then any questions you guys have for Beth when we do part 3. I do encourage you to go watch that Darlene interview. And then if you guys have specific questions about anything that guy said or anything that you want to ask Beth about her passing or anything you've heard specifically, I will use part 3 to take some of your messages. I'll sit with my own thoughts about it and see what questions I have. But yeah, let me know what questions you guys have for Beth for part 3. The sun talks about great creativity again with awakening genius and birthing new ideas and creative expression. We have a lot of creativity here. The sun brings blessings to the earth, and this card represents blessings in your own life. Just as the sun nurtures the earth, bringing new life in the spring and summer, this is your time for new beginnings, the onset of a nurturing new light in your life, the light of divine inspiration and personal growth. This card often marks a time of great creativity, bringing the culmination of an important new project, such as the birth of a baby or the writing or publication of a book, or even the birth of a new you. Visualize the light of divine love pouring into your heart and mind like the rays of the sun, bringing inspiration, growth, and abundant blessings. See the future you want to create and know the sun is shining on your intentions now. That's crazy because I was feeling that warmth in my chest. And this literally says here, this card often marks a time of great creativity, bringing the culmination of an important new project, such as the birth of a baby or the writing or publication of a book. The writing or publication of something. Fascinating. Thank you again, Beth, for joining us today. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for overseeing this channeling of Beth Ramsey. I thank you both for being present with us today. Thank you, anybody and everybody tuning in today. I love you guys. Please remember to like the video, help it circulate, drop a comment, say hello, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in part 3. Bye.